Hey everyone, and welcome back to the show. I am your host, The Vigilante, and I'm back at it with another video. So for today's video, I am so proud. Nintendo Prime has made Salt Daddy so proud. It's like, I just got this feeling of when a father finally sees his son become a man for the first time in his life. Nintendo Prime finally stood up to Nintendo. Now, I find it funny that he picked this one specific thing out of all things to stand up for Nintendo on, but remember everyone, not everything is as it seems.
A bunch of things coming to Nintendo Switch, and conversely, Nintendo Switch 2 dealing with a massive system update that would allow for things like virtual game sharing and other aspects they didn't actually previously announce getting added. Now, a lot of this news is actually really good news, especially when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2 in terms of getting ready to have your data transfer over to Switch 2. Yes, folks, there is some cool stuff going on here. Also, it appears after this update we're talking about, a new firmware update, that Nintendo actually lied and we lost a function that is very sad. And look, guys, it is what it is. We're going to go and report the news, the good and the bad, all of it surrounding this 20.0.0 update, including things that maybe you haven't even heard of because Nintendo kind of hid all this stuff a little bit on their website. So,
I am so proud of Nintendo Prime. You finally let your balls drop. You finally let your balls hang low. Do they wobble to the floor? I am so proud of you, my guy. You making Salt Daddy so proud. Now, still the thing that he sits there, I know what he's about to say, the thing that he's talking about them lying to me, really isn't that bad. I mean, it is horrible for consumers, but I mean, out of all the stuff Nintendo's been doing lately, he finally chooses this one thing to stand on the hill for and die on the hill for, which I just find completely shocking. When you sit there and look at, Mario Kart World being $80, that's a little high. No, okay, Nintendo Prime, you'll let that one go. You sit there and accept that price point. Then you have the $450 console, and he sits there and finally acknowledges that Japan is getting theirs for $330. This is how I know he watches my videos, because he sat there and never once ever mentioned about Nintendo or the one in Japan, $330. He finally acknowledges after I blasted him for like 4 videos in a row. So I know you watch my videos. I am glad I can make you be honest for once. But you know what? He was perfectly okay with that. But out of all the things, he finally settles on this one thing. Let's find out what it is.
They announced this. We gotta go to this website over here, Crossplay. There was something about the old system of sharing games that people really liked. And we gotta go down here to where there's a quote from a Nintendo representative. So we get to the quote here, and it says, "If you liked how the old system worked, it seemed you can keep doing that way. We think many people will enjoy the benefits of virtual game card, but it is an optional feature, and the original method can be used instead," said a Nintendo spokesperson. So here we have a Nintendo spokesperson saying, hey, virtual game cards are really cool, and we think a lot of people are going to like this. However, we understand that not everyone's going to like this, and they're going to prefer the old method. And the thing is, Nintendo actually hinted at this during the video revealing virtual game cards with the following that is actually already quoted in here, so we'll just look at it. It says,
"I will admit the one good thing that they are doing is the virtual game cards with the Switch 2. Now, I don't know what the old way they were doing it on the first Switch was, because I don't know anybody that really has it.
How did this work before? That's what we need to get into. Well, Nintendo actually had a guide on this at one point. The guide is no longer on their FAQ as of last night. They deleted it, but thankfully we have, archive, the web archive out there that has this out here. So this is how it used to work. This is the old method. So how to play the same digital game at the same time with different Nintendo accounts. If you want to play your game at the same time, someone else also plays it. Make sure you are playing on a system that is not the primary console for your Nintendo account. You'll need to have an active internet connection on that system. The other user must play on the primary console for your Nintendo accounts. So essentially how this worked, all right? How this worked was you could have a primary and secondary console, which PlayStation and Xbox also let you do. They even promote it on their website. What you could do is set your own console to be a secondary console and your partner or friend's console to be the primary. On the primary system, any other account on that system can play your digital library. On the secondary system, only your account can play that game. So you would boot up the game on your secondary system, then boot up the same game with a different account on your primary system, and you could play the games at the same time. Moreover,
wow, that's actually a really good feature. Well, for the prices they're selling of games, they should be sitting there letting you do that.
Many people didn't know this. You could actually play multiplayer games together off a single copy, such as Splatoon 3, Animal Crossing New Horizons. So after the 20.0.0 update, this actually doesn't work anymore. While Nintendo did add a new setting in the settings menu to turn on online licensing, which is turned off by default, which does allow 2 people to play the same single-player game at the same time, though you have to turn on airplane mode on the primary Switch to get it to work, which Nintendo doesn't actually explain this anywhere on their own website or documentation, because that's the only way to boot 2 copies at the same time. It means that no, both cannot play online together anymore. In fact, it'll boot you off if you try to connect back online. So, yeah.
And you're surprised? I mean, come on, this is Nintendo after all. When has Nintendo ever done anything for pro-consumer for this next generation? We all knew this was coming. This is no surprise.
pretty shitty of Nintendo. Nintendo did not, as that spokesperson so eloquently put it, keep the old system. They fundamentally changed it, and then to keep even getting part of the old system, it requires extra steps that aren't explained anywhere.
I am so proud of Nintendo Prime. You finally let your balls drop. Good job, my guy. You have made Salt Daddy so proud. You finally are standing up for Nintendo. Now, I see through this BS. Maybe nobody else does. The only reason why, there's two reasons why. The two reasons why he is sitting there acting like this is, number one, he's getting so tired of all of us calling him out. And I will show you the reason why when I say that. And number two, now, I know this. He knows this. Not everybody knows this. He gets to write off the tax. If he buys Mario Kart World, he gets to write off it on his taxes. Now, if he wants to sit there and play with somebody else, now if they both want to play online, he has to buy another game, or that person has to buy another game. So let's say he wants to play with his wife online, he has to go buy another game for them to both play online. You want to know why he's so angry about that? Because he doesn't get to write that one off on his taxes. He actually has to pay full price for that. So that's why he's so angry about it.
Kind of a big yikes. This may not matter for most Switch owners, to be clear, but it does matter to some.
Some? I think you mean you. See, this is how you know that he's full of shit. This is how you know he doesn't care about the average gamer or care about his fans or his subscribers. Because most of them, they don't have a problem with this. Because, well, maybe some might have a problem with it. But for you, instance, all you care about is your pockets. All you care about is making Nintendo happy, usually. But this time, you're finally standing up because now it personally affects you. All the other times you don't care. You don't believe me? I'm pretty positive he is an ambassador to Nintendo, because if you look under his videos, he is actually selling, where he gets a commission on Nintendo Switch 2 products like the controllers, the games. Go look it up. Go look at his channel. Go look under his videos. He literally is getting a commission. So it makes sense for him to do this. Now that he has to spend extra money because he doesn't get to write it off, now he wants to sit there and be all angry over it. And if you don't believe me any further that he only cares because we're sitting there pushing back against him, here, take a look at this tweet he sent. So take a look at this one. Either I'm a pay pig shill or a hater. There's no possible middle ground. No, there is middle ground, but the problem is I see through your bullshit, Nintendo Prime. You're not trying to do middle ground. You're trying to appease both sides, but when it comes down, all you care about is yourself because you're a selfish person. Ironically, you won't catch any of those channels that made hate videos on me. Instead, I never criticize Nintendo or hold them accountable. You're only holding them accountable because it's affecting your pockets. All the other times, you didn't hold them accountable because it didn't matter to you. You either got it for free from Nintendo, you were either making some money on it. I guarantee you that if I was to buy Mario Kart World under your thing, you would get a commission. So, of course, the more it costs, the more of a commission you're getting. I find that one funny. That's ironic, isn't it? And no, many channels did sit there. Well, I know one channel. Oh, no, it's Alex did sit there and make a video sitting there praising you for actually standing up for once in your life. But I'm seeing right through you, and I know why you're doing it. And you know what? We're not sending hate. We're just criticizing you because we know what you're doing. Let's look at some more tweets that he did lately. Lastly, I was told by a bunch of people today because I criticized Nintendo that I am not a real Nintendo YouTuber, which is cool. I only cover Nintendo for a living, run one of the larger Nintendo podcasts alongside, I'm not going to name them, and have been playing Nintendo games since 1990. It's fine. Dime a dozen on these kinds of comments. I fully believe that just accepting everything a company does just because you like their products is just not the way to be. It is okay to be critical. I have done so many times. Do I enjoy Nintendo's offerings any less? Nope. See, so even if he's doing that, he's still going to bend the knee. He's still going to follow suit. He's still going to keep paying for the products. It doesn't really matter to him. He doesn't stand for what he believes in. Like, yeah, he'll go on there and whine and cry a little bit, but this is the first time I've ever seen you criticize Nintendo. And out of all the things, yes, I will agree what they did was BS. It was very anti-consumer. But I think overpaying for a console when Japan gets theirs for cheaper and giving us an $80 Mario Kart World is way worse than what he is complaining about now. That's why I honestly believe he only did it to sit there and get us off of his back. But guess what, my guy? I will never be off your back. I will continue to watch your stuff, and you will be my content for the rest of your life. Oh, so you guys remember when he sat there and did in that one video that I think $80 from Mario Kart World is overpriced? I don't know where it got lost in translation. Well, take a look at this. I don't think $80 is too much, but I also think it's hypocritical to be highly critical of a price point I know personally. I'll still pay because the entertainment is worth the money for me. So I don't get highly critical of it, but I will get critical of something Nintendo used to have and could patch it back in. I will get. I think you forgot to sit there and put something after that part. But that's ridiculous. Okay, you sat there and kept going back and forth over the $80. You won't get critical over the high price point because, again, you get a commission for it, number one, and you get to write out partly on your taxes. But you sitting there having to buy another game, or someone else has to buy that game so you can play online with them, you don't get to write that off on your taxes. Yeah, you may get a commission for it, but again, you're not going to get to write off on your taxes. I see through your BS. You're a selfish gamer is all you are. All right, let's look at the last part of the tweet before I go. I will call out when Nintendo had a bad design choice leading to Joy-Con drift, or are behind the times and even basic chat features, etc. I mean, you literally have never complained once about that basic chat feature having to pay, and I don't see you complaining about the Switch 2 being behind in hardware specs of everything else, but I also super love their games, but these hassles and price points end up not being enough to make me not want to play them. Of course, because like I said, you get a tax deduction. You also get a commission for selling them. So call me a Nintendo YouTuber, call me a fake Nintendo YouTuber. I'll keep on trucking on because I love what I do, and thanks to all of you, I get to do it every day. Now, I don't think you're a fake Nintendo YouTuber. I think you're a fake gamer. You are definitely a corporate shill. You know, like I said before, I am happy that he finally let his balls drop and he sat there and stood up to Nintendo. But I see through your bullshit. I see what you're really about. I know you're just using your fans and subscribers to fund your lifestyle. You don't really care if the average consumer gets screwed over. You only care about your bottom dollar. Well, that's it for my reaction. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with me or not. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay vigilant.